Have you ever been miles away from home and wished you had a way to access your computer that's sitting at your desk? Well, I turned this tiny Pi02W into a device that lets you do exactly that. It plugs right into any computer and gives you complete physical control from anywhere in the world, just as if you were sitting right in front of it. That means you can wake your computer up when it's asleep, see the screen in real time, move the mouse, and type on the keyboard. And yeah, all of this even works from your phone. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to set this up from start to finish so that you can access and control your computer from anywhere. Let's get right into it. First, let's take a look at everything you're going to need. Of course, we have the Raspberry Pi 02W, and we'll also need a micro SD card for the OS. Then this special part called an HDMI to CSI bridge, which takes the video signal from your computer and feeds it directly into the Pi. Included with it is this ribbon cable and some extra hardware. Next, we'll want a high-quality micro USB data cable, which both powers the Pi and lets it send keyboard and mouse commands to the computer that we're going to be controlling remotely. And this one here is optional, but I'm going to add this small OLED display. It gives you some cool stats like your IP address, temperature, usage, and the number of devices connected. This display is also going to need a few jumper cables. And if you do decide to add this display, I went ahead and designed this custom 3D printed enclosure. Links to all the parts and the 3D print files will be in the description below. The actual assembly is super easy. First, connect the ribbon cable from the HDMI bridge to the Pi, making sure that the metal contacts are face down. If you're not adding the OLED screen, you can just attach the HDMI bridge with the provided standoffs and it should look something like this. But if you're adding the screen like I am, use the jumper cables to wire it up to the 3 volts, ground, SDA, and SCL pins on the Pi. Here's a diagram in case you need it. Like I mentioned, I designed this custom enclosure and the Pi slides right into place at the bottom. The HDMI bridge and display attached to the top, and then we can close it up and we have this nice clean package. Alright, with that assembled, we can actually put it aside for now, and you'll want to grab your micro SD card and plug it into your computer. Then head over to the Raspberry Pi website where we'll download the imager if you don't have it already. So we'll go ahead and click download here and get that installed. For the actual OS, we're going to be using PiKVM, which is an awesome open source project that's designed for exactly what we're trying to do. So we'll head here to this page on the PiKVM website, which I'll have linked below. And under the V2 platform section, we're going to download the image specifically for the 02W. Now we're going to open up the Pi imager and we're going to select our Raspberry Pi 02W here. And for OS, we're going to be going with custom and then click on the image for the PiKVM that we just downloaded. We'll go next. Select our micro SD card and click write. Then we'll confirm, and it's probably going to ask for your password, so type that in. And then we're just going to wait for it to write to the micro SD card, which is just going to take a little bit. Alright, once that's done, we can click finish here, and don't pull out your micro SD card just yet since we'll still need to configure our Wi-Fi. And to do that, we're just going to head over to our Finder or File Explorer and find our micro SD card here. Scroll down until you see the PiKVM.txt and open it up. We're going to add 2 lines at the bottom here. So the first one is going to be Wi-Fi underscore ESSID equals, and then single quotes, and we're going to put our Wi-Fi name here. Then on a new line, we're going to type Wi-Fi underscore PASSWD. And then in single quotes, we're going to put our Wi-Fi password. Once we have that, we can save the file, close it, and eject our micro SD card, and now we can take it out. Then we can pop the micro SD card into the Pi. And to get this thing up and running now, I'm going to plug an HDMI cable and the micro USB cable into my main computer, and we can plug both of those into the Pi. Important note, the micro USB cable needs to be plugged into the second micro USB port on the Pi. Now that we've given it power, we just need to find out what IP address our network assigned to it. How you find that is going to depend on your home network. Usually you can access your router's admin page at one of these 2 IP addresses shown on screen. Then look under the device list for something like Raspberry Pi or PiKVM. Either way, once you've found the IP address, open up a new tab in your browser and paste it in. You might see this warning about the site not being secure, but it's on our home network, so it's not a big deal. And you should make it to this login page here. The default username is admin and the password is also admin. At this point, we're really close to remotely accessing and controlling our computer, but first we'll want to get a couple things set up in the terminal here. The first thing we're going to want to do is change the default passwords. So to do that, we're going to type in SU, and the default password here is root. Then we'll type in RW for read write, and then type in PASSWD root. And this is going to change the password for our terminal root access. So enter something in here, You won't see your keyboard inputs here, but they are being registered. So just keep clicking through. Then we're gonna change the password for the web dashboard login. And to do that, we're gonna type kvmd-htpasswd set admin. Then type in our new password. Next, if you installed the OLED screen like I did, we're gonna need to enable it really quick. So I've got this set of commands here that I'm gonna copy and paste, and I'll also leave them down in the description so you can copy and paste as well. But we'll put that in, hit enter. Finally, I highly recommend getting PiKVM fully up to date, and we can do that using the command PiKVM-update. After that finishes, we'll just type reboot, and once it restarts, we should see the tiny screen come to life. Now we can head back to the dashboard to test it out. All right, back in the dashboard again. Let's go ahead and log back in. And then we're gonna head into the KVM. And we should see a live feed of our desktop. So yeah, you might notice though that it's just blank. And this is because Windows by default sees the PiKVM as a brand new monitor and just extends our display. But if we put this side by side with my actual monitor, you can see that the mouse pointer actually does move. So to fix this, the first thing we can try is heading over to the display settings. Instead of extend display, we can select duplicate display. Now we can actually see our main desktop, but since I have this ultra wide monitor here, it tries to fit the entire thing into this tiny window, and it's not really usable at all. If you've got a normal size display, it might show up okay, but it'll also lock your display to the 1080p resolution that the PiKVM outputs. If you want to get around this, I've got a pretty clean fix. We're gonna go into the Windows display settings again, and we're gonna select show only on one, and then make a couple neat shortcuts that we can trigger when we want to access our computer remotely. This is gonna ensure that we get a perfectly clean feed through to the PiKVM without sacrificing the resolution of our main display. We'll close the display settings for now and right-click the desktop to create a new shortcut. Type displayswitch.exe/external. This is going to tell our computer to output the display only to the PiKVM, which is what we would want whenever we're accessing remotely. So we'll name this PiKVM Start Session. Right-click that new shortcut, go to Properties, and assign it a keyboard shortcut. I'll go with Ctrl-Alt-S for Start. We'll similarly make a second shortcut using /internal that we can activate whenever we end our PiKVM session so that display output goes back to our main monitor. I'll call this one PiKVM End Session. Then give it a different shortcut. I'll use Ctrl-Alt-E for end. Now whenever you log into your PiKVM remotely, you just press that hotkey, Ctrl-Alt-S, and instantly our main monitor will turn off and we get full control. From here, I can do literally anything I would normally do on my desktop PC, like pick up where I left off with any projects, go into my files, and I can even restart and go into BIOS if I wanted to. And when you're done, we'll hit the second hotkey before disconnecting, and your main monitor will wake right back up, ready for you when you get home. At this point, we've got a super solid setup, but it only works if you're on your home network. Obviously, we want to access this from anywhere, and to do this, I'm going to be using a tool that I've used in my previous projects called Tailscale. It's a mesh VPN that creates a secure encrypted network between your devices, and it's super convenient and easy to set up. So first, we're going to go ahead and install it on the PiKVM. So head over to tailscale.com/download, and we're going to select the Linux download here, copy this install command here, and head back over to our PiKVM dashboard and into the terminal. So we'll need root user access again, so type in SU and then your password, and then RW again for read write, and paste that command in. All right, now we can see here the installation is complete, and we can just run Tailscale up. And it should give us this login link that we can open in a new tab in our browser. And there's a bunch of ways you can sign in. I'm gonna use GitHub like I always do. Click Authorize, Connect, and we should be able to see our PiKVM in our dashboard here, and it's connected, so everything's looking good. Now all that's left to do is grab any device that you want to be able to remotely access your computer from, and we're gonna install the Tailscale client. So in this case, just my Mac here. So I'll just go back to the Tailscale downloads page, click Mac OS, and download Tailscale for my Mac. Once you've got that downloaded and installed, it should show up on the top right here if you're on Mac. If you're on Windows, it'll be in the taskbar on the bottom right. But we'll go ahead and toggle this on and then connect. And we go back to the console now, we should see that the MacBook shows up here and it's connected. So now we can try accessing the PiKVM, And before I do that, I'm actually gonna switch over to my phone hotspot here to kind of simulate being away from my home network. So we're on my phone hotspot now, and I'll copy this ts.net address here and paste it in. And just like that, we'll log in and we'll go to the KVM. We're getting no signal right now because it's connected to our main monitor, but we're gonna hit our shortcut here, Control-Alt-S, and we should see it switch over. And yeah, just like that, it looks like we're remotely accessing and controlling our computer away from our home network. And just like I showed at the beginning, I can even control my computer from my phone. So I've got Tailscale installed here on my phone, and I'm on 5G, and I'll just copy and paste the address here, open up a browser, and paste it in. Now I can log in, and just like on my laptop, I can go into the KVM, and we see my full Windows desktop here. There's some built-in controls that let me click the mouse and even type on a keyboard. So I've got complete access to my home desktop right from the palm of my hand, which is pretty cool. Overall, this project has really added a ton of convenience around how I work with my desktop computer. And honestly, the fact that all this runs off of a tiny Pi02W is pretty awesome. As always, thank you for watching and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I've got more on the way, so I'll see you in the next one.